Hey, fight fans, welcome to episode 245 of the Fight Library. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and today's guest is Nico Ali Walsh. He fights Alejandro Ibarra on Top Rank Boxing on the 30th, which is this weekend. Me and Nico get into conversation about who he likes in the middleweight division, and his career growing up, being the grandson of Muhammad Ali and the nephew of Layla Ali, and we talk about the pressure that brings and how it doesn't really affect him that much. It's an interesting talk, and I was excited to talk to Nico, and I want to thank him for coming on the show. I was a bit nervous. And, anyways, guys, if you're watching this on video, my laptop messed up and it only recorded him on video, so I've got like cue cards of when he's talking, and then it'll show like a graphic of when I'm talking, and yeah, it's not good, but I couldn't like let Nico not be on video because this is awesome. Anyways, guys, so I hope you all enjoy this episode. Let's dive on in. And so thanks for joining me, brother.
Of course.
First thing I want to tell you is I was watching you fight, and you threw a 1-2, and it looked just like Muhammad. I was like, "Oh, that's a spitting image, man!" Like he flicks the jab out. He doesn't step into it all the time, and you did the same thing.
Yeah.
Flick the jab out and come across. I was like, "Oh, that's genetic." That ain't nothing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, all I do is watch him, so
Yeah.
that's probably where it comes from.
Well, man, you've got a fight coming up though against what's his name?
Ibarra.
Yeah, Ibarra. That's who it was. I'm sorry, I was just looking at it.
That's currently who it's supposed to be if nothing happens. Because for my last fight, the person I was supposed to fight got COVID the last 5 days, and then the opponent switched.
It's crazy these times. Boxers, MMA fighters, all of them got to be just ready to fight because of
Yeah. So that's the current idea is Ibarra.
So that's happening on April 30th. After that last win, with the shuffle and all that, which I'll talk to you in a second here about.
Yep.
But after that, you got to be excited to get back in there again, right?
Of course, yeah. No, I don't like taking time off, and they've just been keeping me active. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you fought since August? I'm looking at your record here. You fought 4 times since last August. So that's less than a year. You were getting the experience in for sure. How is that kind of your goal? Fight 4 or 5 times a year?
Yeah. Well, it's for sure minimum 4 times. So
Right.
it's not going to be any less than 4. It can't. But it will be before August.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight another 2 times.
Yes.
So it'll be, it'll be April 30th, and then I'll fight again before August.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Experience. I feel like you're 21. You're very young.
Yeah.
Experience, I think, especially when you're young like this, it's very important. It helps you become, a better boxer and stuff. But the fight I think that really took you up to another level was against Sanchez.
Yes.
He took you the distance, and
Yes.
after a couple knockdowns, taking you the distance. That's did you feel like that kind of was like, I'm leveled up here. I've become a better fighter because of this guy?
Well, yeah, the old saying is like there's a blessing and a curse with always knocking people out or stopping people. You don't want to get used to that, because once you get to the level of competition that I'm striving to get to,
Mhm.
you're not going to be knocking out everybody. I'm not a heavyweight. So, you look at like Canelo and Triple G, nobody's getting knocked out.
No.
It's a chess match, and it's going to be a great fight. So you don't want to get used to that. And I'm glad I got that experience of the full 4 rounds. And it's made me a better fighter.
And I feel like you mentioned that Deontay Wilder is a prime example of that. He went through and he mauls everybody. Then he runs up against Tyson Fury, and it's like, oh, I've never been here before.
Yeah.
I think that's experience he could have used coming up.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a perfect example.
So, do you get tired of people asking you about Muhammad?
I don't. I mean, sometimes it does get a little weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just family. It's like, someone asking me about my mom all the time. So I'm
Right.
kind of used to it at this point.
So does that, with Layla, with Muhammad and stuff, does that weigh on your shoulders any as a boxer? Are you trying to carve your own path as a professional boxer? Does that kind of put weight on your shoulders to follow up in their shadow?
Honestly, believe it or not, it doesn't.
Really?
It actually gives me more it gives me more confidence. It gives me like purpose. Actually,
No.
it doesn't give me any additional like pressure that I have to live up to somebody, you know. So I think it actually helps. It does the opposite of what people would think.
Interesting. Why you say it's the opposite? Like, is it because they've been there already and like your family's already proven to be some of the best ever?
Well, oh, you know what? There's a great quote. It's the quote went something along the lines of the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows.
Okay.
And that's something that like I basically live by.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'm in the shadow of my grandfather. It seems like the whole boxing world is in the shadow of my grandfather, but that's because he was one of the brightest lights, you know. So
Right.
it's a
Very
hard
true.
shadow to get out of. And once you embrace it, there's really nothing to be. It's something that I'm proud of now. It's something that you know. It's powerful to me to be fighting and continuing that legacy.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
love that, man. So Ali's one of my all-time favorites too. And you to say that, like, he cast a whole shadow not over just your legacy as a boxer, but the entire boxing division. Like
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua, Usyk, Tyson Fury, all those guys are standing in the shadows of him, of
Yep.
all the heavyweight champs, Lennox Lewis before him.
Right. Right.
So it's cool because boxing's real big on that legacy. It's a really big legacy sport. I think that's what makes it more unique than say MMA or wrestling or something like that. There's like
Yeah.
lineage to it.
Yeah. No. And boxing is like I think boxing is one of the first sports ever. It's got
Yeah,
to be
for
just two
sure.
people punching each other.
Yeah. That and racing, I believe, would be like foot racing. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Just let's see who's faster. So yeah, I mean it's got a ton of history. That's
So
probably
what I normally ask boxers off the bat, what got you into boxing? But I feel like it's your familial ties. But was there ever a point in time where you're like, I don't know if I want to box? I want to do my
yeah.
own. Really?
Yeah, I mean when I was young, I kind of had an idea of the long journey it would take to become a boxer and the hard work and the pressure and I kind of had an idea of that and I was like, is this something I really want to do? And I was actually gonna stop boxing, but my grandfather was like kept me from stopping.
Right.
So yeah, so I kept boxing. I loved it. I was afraid of the potential journey that I would have to take, but I'm very glad that I just kept going.
Yeah. So earlier you talked about reaching the levels that you want to reach
Yeah,
in your career. I would assume that's world champion.
yeah.
Who's your dream fight right now? Is it Canelo?
Well, I think Canelo's the greatest fighter of my time. I
I
think he's
think
the
so too.
greatest fighter of my generation. So if that were to ever happen, that would be like, I mean, that would be something that I would be able to tell my kids and so I mean just to share a gym with him would be an honor. So I
Right.
don't know if that would ever happen, but again, greatest
Timeline.
fighter of my generation.
Yeah, for sure. He's so good. It's crazy, like how automatic he is, especially with that body shot, that lead hook to lead body shot he throws.
Yep.
It's just he's like so perfect. I don't understand how somebody could be so
Yeah.
perfect at his craft, but like he's amazing.
I know, and it's awesome to see him because he definitely didn't start out like that. It's great to see the come up because I watched a ton of his early fights, and his early fights he looked normal. He looked like a human, and now he looks like an alien. Like he just looks like someone that was born for this. But it's great to see that come up, that rise that he's made.
So you think he gets it done with Bivol?
I think he gets it done with anybody he wants. Honestly, that's where I'm at with Canelo right now.
Well, everybody wants him to go up to heavyweight if Usyk should win. Oh my gosh, I
I
can't.
don't know about. I mean, again,
You could size ball him,
Canelo
but
Canelo he could basically fight Superman at this point, and I would be like, yeah, Canelo wins.
Yeah, just take him at 12. I mean, Muhammad beat Superman.
No, yeah, he did. So
He
I think he's 0-1 in boxing.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet Superman on that one.
Yeah.
So I got one more question, man, before I let you go. Everybody always talks about the dream fight and who would win. All right. In their primes, Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Who wins?
So I love Mike Tyson, but there is no way I could pick against my grandfather. So definitely my grandfather would win that fight.
I couldn't keep a straight face with that, man. I really couldn't.
No, it's definitely I am biased, but even if I wasn't, I think he gets the job done in that fight. I think Mike Tyson agrees too.
He did. I think he did say the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Nico, I appreciate you coming on, talking with me about, your fight, your career and all that. Top Rank Boxing, April 30th, Alejandro Ibarra, your opponent. Where can everybody find you on social media and such?
On Instagram, I'm just Nico Ali Walsh, NicoAliWalsh, and then Twitter, it's like Nico Ali X74. I don't know. It's like once you find the Instagram, you find everything else.
I'll find it. I'll make sure to get at you on Twitter and all that too, man. Nico, I appreciate you, man. I'm be rooting for you in the next fight, and have a good one, man.
Thank you. You have a great one. Thanks for having me.
You too.